Or you could say AD. Today, historians use the term CE. But I
Okay.
What you mean when you
Okay, so you do know the scriptures had already been written.
Brother,
hey, hold on for 1 minute. Hold on for 1 minute. Apostle. Was you talking about me the other day on Frenchie channel, talking crazy about me?
Frenchie? Who's Frenchie?
The nigga from France.
Who is that?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, yeah. I don't know nobody from France channel.
In there saying you was talking crazy.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Just let it go. Never mind. You didn't do it. All right, go ahead, Jabari.
So what I'm trying to explain to you.
All right, peace and black power family. Welcome to another Sarnetta TV House of Consciousness production. You already know what it is. This is your brother Sarnetta. I am your host, and I'm bringing in another heavy hitter. You brothers and sisters better be ready. When we build this wall, this comedic wall, oh my God, ain't nothing stopping. We bringing in another young brother. He's a scholar. You one leave, 5 more come in. Reggie leave, 5 more come in. You know what I'm saying? Garfield leaves and turn his back on Kemet, 10 more come in. We already got Chris Harris. We bringing in another brother who is awesome, who is powerful. I would say I don't know, between him and Jabari, I would say they probably right here until I see the brother's work and ethic, and if he can handle the ring, getting in, or the battlefield, or whatever, anybody that come at him, if he can deal with that pressure, I think he can, because he's Kemet. And so without any further ado, I bring to you my brother, Shaka, in the building. What's up, Shaka? He runs the channel of Ma'at Forever. So if y'all are aware of that, make sure you go and subscribe to Ma'at Forever channel. Go over there and show some love for our brother. Peace and black power to you. Hotep. Shaka, what's happening, man? Unmute yourself.
Hotep Sen-E Sarnetta.
Yeah.
Thank you for the invitation. I just want to greet the people as I usually do. Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, Iti, Ren Isha Kandugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. Bonjour, Sak Passe, Mbote, all that good stuff.
Damn, don't y'all hear that? Don't that sound beautiful to your ears, man, right there? Just to hear him go in on that. I know he dealing with knowledge, man.
Check. 1 2 1 2. I hope you're doing well. You know, when Frankie was asking the dude if he came on my channel, you reminded me of one sketch from Chris Tucker.
Or you could say AD. Today, historians use the term CE.
But okay.
What you mean when you
say so you do know the scriptures had already been written.
Brother,
hey, hold on for 1 minute. Hold on for 1 minute. Apostle. Was you talking about me the other day on Frenchie channel, talking crazy about me?
Frenchie? Who's Frenchie?
The nigga from France.
Who is that?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, yeah. I don't know nobody from France channel.
In there saying you was talking crazy.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Just let it go. Never mind. You didn't do it. All right, go ahead, Jabari.
The way when it's okay, never let it go. Never mind. It reminds me of Chris Tucker's sketch of Michael Jackson. You can go and look it up. It was on Def Comedy Jam, and he's imitating Michael Jackson. He's like, what if Michael Jackson was a pimp? He goes, he'd be in the car, like, he'd be like, wait a minute, is that my sitting over there on the curb? No, first he goes, slow down, Tito. Slow down, Tito, dame. And Sarah reminded me that, it's okay, let it go, you done did it. Now, One funny thing, let me show you. This is Frankie live streaming. Look at the title. I am making this up, man. I am making this up. The title is Shaka, and he's talking about Shaka Amos. You can see that there are two Ks. You know, my name is spelled only with one K, even though many people have misspelled it with two Ks. So this is Shaka Amos. Shaka is now ready for the handicap matchup with Captain Tazariak. I mean, I don't mean to make fun or disrespect anybody that's handicapped. I'm just reading the title. That dude got so much, he got demoted so much that it's necessary to put that the matchup is a handicap matchup. So that dude can be nicknamed, if people don't want to call him Tazari Wak, they can call it Handy Tazi. I mean, dang. Talking about falling off, man. That's what happened when people are being hyped up. It was the same with track field. Hung Butler Reggie put a battery on his back, and the dude thought he was knowledgeable. And the rest is history. Have you heard from the Dagger squad lately? The dude went down and his whole squad went down with him as well. But that was just for the record. And you know what? Let's see if I'm blocked now.
So
So here's the chat. Let's see if I'm blocked. It shows. Oh, too long. Okay. It works. So it's only a matter of seconds or minutes before some OnlyFans moderators remove it. But you can see I typed in the chat, I am Frenchy, the N word from France. And we are talking about sex trafficking. Frankie, since your friend, I forgot the S, are experts in rape, feel free to add to the convo on the YouTube channel, Ma'a Forever. There's something else I wanted to show you. I almost forgot. Now, on which video did he put that comment? Okay, the one about Seku. Going to share the link. Handicap? Maybe he referring to golf. I don't know. Well, here in the chat, you have the link to this video entitled Seku Kele has my support. Sorry, that was a month ago. And look at the comment there. I don't like when it does that. Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom. You can see here. Someone nickname, no, whatever. AC1. I'm sure if I go on this channel, there's no content. There it is. Right guess. No content. No content at all. Zero. But it's okay. It's not an obligation. But it's usually the people who have no content at all who are the livest, the most skilled with the 2 fingers, with the advices. So, is it showing? Oh, yes, it is. Now, he wrote, Ma'at forever. Your assessment on Asar him or fake being a fraud is very weak. If you are a scholar, the first thing you do is assess the methodology and not the individual. So, Mr. AC1, if you are a male, you must not be informed.
Allah, and this is where I would disagree with Brother Shaka, is actually in the Egyptian text.
Now, Mr. AC1, for the record, I did reply. Look, I did reply. I will reply to your message live on air in 15 minutes. So, and I even liked his comment so he gets a notification. So, Mr. AC1. Hey, how you doing, Sister Andrea Burnett? Mr. AC1, I'm putting the link. Get on the panel. Just for you. Please come and break down to us that this is a good methodology to claim that Allah is in the Egyptian text. That's not all.
The God Allah is an indigenous African God.
And feel free to also to break down how Allah is an indigenous African God. I bet you didn't know he was teaching that, did you? Did you? Now, if you didn't know, it's cool. You can come and say, okay, I didn't know. Now I know. And if you don't know, now you know, brother. No.
Heru would be the same thing as Allah. In ancient Egypt, Allah is in his full form.
In ancient Egypt, Allah is in his full form, and Heru will be the same thing as Allah.
These Hebrews, come from and who they are specifically, because based upon my research, these are African people.
Hebrews are African people?
This is how we know that the Hebrews, first of all, you got to understand that Hebrew is an African language.
Hebrew is an African language? Oh, dang.
Then when you do a linguistic analysis, you understand that the Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
The Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language?
Fly in English is the same word, except we don't have the prefix sound in there in the word fly. And so the word, the phoneme R is now L in English, and the P sound is F, in English. It's just simply the word. It's a very old word. It's all the Indo-European is in every African language.
You offer to break that down as well, that the English word fly derives from the Middle nature repère.
Dr. Yosef Ben Levy's article on the Hyksos, and he provides some very good information on who the Hyksos were. But as far as black is concerned, I wouldn't deem them black folks. But your Hebrew, original Hebrews, yes, because linguistics and the historical records say so. And you still have Hebrews. Fulanis are black as hell. The Afar are still black as hell. Your Abaroros are still black as hell.
You can break that down as well, AC1.
Between the law in linguistics and the law, for example, physics, is that with a law.
Are you a physicist? Do you study physics, for example?
I do study physics and I study science. And so,
okay. Have you studied linguistics formally?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So he said that he studied linguistics formally. Can you enlighten us? And he also studied physics. But this one is a crazy part.
Not only that, but he hasn't done a reconstruction for Middle Egyptian.
I understand.
And I'm saying that that is an incorrect and it's not a very good order of operations. So you're going to
I don't see a reconstruction of Yoruba in your work or Akan.
How would I reconstruct Yoruba and it's spoken right now? How does that make any sense to you?
Because that's my point.
It's spoken right now. And what I did is I used IPA because Yoruba has its own orthographic system.
It's a convention for sounds. These are all symbols. That's the whole point of writing. They're just symbols to represent sounds. We understand that. The issue is here is that it's not attested in terms of a living.
So this is what I'm hearing as a lack of understanding. What you just said, you said I didn't reconstruct Yoruba. I wouldn't need to reconstruct Yoruba.
If
I wouldn't need to reconstruct Akan. He doesn't need to reconstruct Somali. He also doesn't need to reconstruct Hausa. But what he does need to reconstruct is the one that I'm saying that he did not reconstruct.
Here's the question.
Please, just hold on 1 second because
I understand. Believe me, I understand what you're saying. I'm asking you this.
Then let me make this last point, please. Just let me make this last point. So you're saying that I didn't reconstruct a language that is attested right now. You don't reconstruct languages that are attested right now. You write them down.
So AC1, you can thank me later, or you can come here on the panel and try to break that down and explain that. But anyway, let me continue with the comment. Also, what do you mean Asar plagiarized? Everyone gets references and are allowed to cite where information is from. All his work is referenced in his Aluja book. Please stop hating and just challenge evidence. Oh, so now it is hate now. So for your information, now be kind, I will leave it in the comment. But for your information, sorry. I'm sharing this video here. MCs act like they don't know, and some MCs just don't know. First in the chat for everybody to see. Bob Funk wrote, it's like he just woke up one morning and decided to go with his methodology, like dreamt it. Here. Sahimo fake serial plagiarizer. This is proof that Asahimo fake plagiarized from several different authors in several different languages. It's not just citation issue. And there you have it. So I'm done with this here. Sorry. Now I can continue where I left off with the report. And I will share the link. Trafficking report. There was a scheduled protest against sex trafficking in New York. It's funny, Frankie doesn't talk about it. It's funny. Butler Reggie doesn't talk about it. You know, he's SP. And let me share the website again. Upstands with Survivor. Matter of fact, you know what? Don't let them know over there. Damn, I'm still not blocked. So now they know. Hip hop stands with survivors. They have the website address. Can't say they don't know now. Oh, that's it. I must have. Oh no, not yet. A protest against rapists. I forgot the S. Will take place in New York on March 27th. They have the link there. Okay. That being said, now all the child molesters are aware. They all know now. That day they won't be in New York. They will be busy on some business trip. The last time I left at page 11, well, actually page 12 anyway. Overcome the negative with the positive. Africa Bambaataa. The public face of the Zulu nation outside of the Bronx was that of a righteous organization, and Bambaataa was well respected. Many considered him a genuine, principled leader and do-gooder. And do-gooder. He bought poor people's groceries and helped anyone who needed it. And that reminds me of, one guy that we dealt with, who went to jail for rape. And he keeps saying, I'm doing the work. So some people are like that. French Pan Africans also have been defending rapists and pedophiles. I've talked about it for years. And there's idiots like to say, well, you don't judge a man, you judge his work. So they don't care if a dude, raped children. If he writes a nice book, then they're gonna, kiss his behind. That's the way they get down. And just like among Pan-Africans, among the so-called conscious community, you have a lot of people who are grown. They are in their 50s, 60s, and 40s, and they are lame. They are really dumb. They are blind followers, groupies, and they make excuses for anything that's messed up just because they share a common cause. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Let me continue. Former international spokesman TC Islam said he helped create the smoke and mirrors facet. Oh, what happened there? But I think that's serious stuff. Okay. Islam says, no, come on. TC Islam said he helped create the smoke and mirrors facade, of the group. Islam says he was responsible with a few others for the iconic photo of Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc, and Bambaataa on the cover of Source magazine. There were photos, it's really the source, but it's okay. There were photos with other people in that shoot, but the one chosen for the cover solidified Bambaataa in the public's eye as a founding father of hip hop. The Zulu Nation attracted thousands of members worldwide. The new chapters crossed continents, all promoting hip hop as a lifestyle. So we have the we have the book cover of the Source magazine. Hey, Donnie Williams, how you doing? I didn't know you were Portuguese, but also surprised, I'm replying to a comment that he left, asking me if there were a lot of black people in Portugal. For those who don't know, I spent a little while there. I went to the Calouste Museum, and I have some more artifacts to share with you all. And even from some other countries, I still have some footage from other countries. And there are so many black people in Lisboa. That's the way they call. That's how they call Lisbon in Portuguese. So Lisbon is the capital for those who don't know. It's a capital city of Portugal, and there are so many. And like I wrote in my response to your comment, I think I presume that most of them come from Cabo Verde, um, Angola, Brazil. We have Texas Bomber in the place to be. How you doing? We've been at road. Sorry, Bambata calls himself the Amun Ra of hip hop, and he means those rituals for that, according to Nubians. And I haven't finished yet the. Oh, actually, I think I may have finished it. Chuck Morgan. Chuck Morgan's interview. Damn man, they have a green. They had a green room. The Nubians. They had a green room. Welcome everybody. Yeah, I think I finished it because there was a color, and that was it at the end. So people were required to sell merchandise of the Nubians. Now, they were not necessarily called Nubians at the time. It was probably the Ansar Allah community. There were so many names, the Holy Tabernacle, I mean, so many different names. But anyway, one of Malachi York's organization had members required to sell so much merchandise. And if people will sell enough, they would be entitled to get to the green room and be with their partner. So those who are not selling enough, they're not getting any booty. Now, the husbands and wife were separate. And they used to have shakedowns. I'm not sure if he said it's for people who did not sell enough or people who keep money, which was not keep money for themselves. But Chuck Morgan said that it was not like against the laws. One person kept some money from himself, but they wanted people to give it all. So they had shakedowns, and shakedowns basically they beat you up. I mean, damn, man, talking about modern day slavery, man. There was a brother when I used to be on Blog Talk Radio. He had a very deep voice, and he knew a lot about the Nubians. I think he's the one who shared with me that book, Sheikh Dawood versus the Nation of Islam. And I remember him saying, if I'm not mistaken, it was him. I forgot his name. It was a long time ago. It was actually a bit over a decade ago. But if I remember correctly, he told me that they used to sell soaps, and of course they used to sell the scrolls. So the scrolls are Malachi York's books, and he had so many. So the business was quite lucrative, and we're not even talking about the welfare business, not to say fraud. It's like in a casino. The goal is to get your paper, your payola, your moolah, your money. These younger chapters, I'm sorry about the cough. These younger chapters began executing the supposed mission of the hip hop awareness group, educational programs for the local youth, teaching children the elements of hip hop, violence prevention, community service, offering employment resources, and food to the poor. The Zulu Nation even had a youth services department. It will be these chapters that the elder officials used as the new face of the Zulu Nation. They were examples of the good work the organization was doing. But in Bronx River, the residents said the Zulu Nation had been a violent gang for years, and Islam said the Zulu Nation operated like a gang until '96. What do sovereigns do with the money? Bambata apparently followed the lead of Malachi York by declaring himself a sovereign citizen and indigenous to North America. In one of the voluminous court documents written by York or his lawyers since his incarceration, he states his identity. I am Maku, Chief, Black Thunderbird, Eagle, aka aka Malachi York, chief and head of the state of the Yamasee Native American Moors of the Creek Nation. UNNM BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, registry number 208/1999. Bambaataa joined a Philadelphia-based group that specialized in the Moorish principle of sovereignty, independence of the United States jurisdiction by declaring to be a Native American whose ancestors were not a part of the transatlantic slave trade. Can you hear me now? I'm unmuted. Perhaps Bambaataa either filed paperwork with the U.S. government's Bureau of Indian Affairs designating the Zulu Nation as a Native American tribe, or the Zulu Nation could be on the rolls of York's group. Bambaataa reportedly has a sovereign ID, driver's license, and passport. And the bottom of Zulu Nation ID card says, protected by international treaties. The membership fee to join the Zulu Nation was $50. There was no other prerequisite to join. Hip-hop fans around the world mailed in their fee. Zulu Nation chapters collected dues and sent the money to New York. Bambaataa had a P.O. box and a headquarters apartment in Bronx River, in the New York area. These were primarily in-person cash drops with no accountability. While we are at it, Danny Williams wrote, NOI used to beat up track field. That's how he got the gash on his forehead. Okay, that's just a joke. And people volunteer for this. Now, in France, some people were members of the Zulu Nation. And some of them, were portraying themselves as, people in the street, gangsters and so on. And some of them used to rape, do gang rape. And in my website for years, I've shared an article, a news article, that talks about the trial, So whenever something is like available publicly, I've been talking about it for years, man. But anyway, that was just for the record. Zulu Nation chapters collected dues and sent the money to New York. Bambaataa had a P.O. box and a headquarters apartment in Bronx River. In the New York area, these were primarily in-person cash drops with no accountability. The Zulu Nation's council may have played some part in the finances. Co-founders in council include Billy Ahmed Henderson, Amber Carter, Mikey Benson, Kenny Snyder, aka Lord Yoda, and Stanley Bell, aka Muhammad Islam. More on Benson soon. Carter is said to be one of Bambaataa's closest friends. In a social media post about the men that made the allegations, Carter, also known as Pepsi and Queen Kenia, told the Zulu Nation members to cut their heads off. Damn, man. Survivors say she was also present at a meeting when other members of the organization disclosed that they too had been molested. There were no results. I'm going to read this, I think, after. There were no results in a search for an actual IRS finding by the Zulu Nation. Perhaps a bank account existed under Bambaataa's name or one of his aliases. Apartments and tax bills have been under several different aliases, such as Asim Bambaataa and Islam. Said the Zulu Nation was kicked out of every office they had for non-payment of rent. Somebody said that Polite used to be in those rented houses, and wanted people to believe that it was his houses and not rented. And somebody, I think it was Enki, but somebody said that, well, I would just not pay any rent, and then he would just bounce, and use, loopholes, to get out of the situation. But anyway, that's something I heard. I think it was Enki who said that, but hey. So regarding this photo, it says Africa Mambata in 2012 at the Nation of Islam stopped the violent street gathering. Mambata reportedly believes he is a Native American and not subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. Standing behind him is Sean Cutman L.G. Thomas. So there's some people like that desecrating the Ankh. Before he was killed in 2017, Grandmaster T.C. Islam was in a public fallout with Bambara and wanted to be paid back all the money he invested in the group. An Atlanta man, Talib Page, pled guilty to his murder. Bambara and the Zulu Nation were not implicated in the case. In the last interview before he was killed in 2017, Islam told the members, "Ask where your money is going. Name it and claim it." Since the story broke, some in hip hop tried to distance themselves from Bambara. Not so of KRS-One. The teacher has been a staunch supporter through it all. He has previously given lectures exaggerating Bambara's come up by saying he invented hip hop and stopped all the gang activity in New York. Legends of the game like KRS-One are paid honorariums to speak and teach classes at colleges. What if what they have thought is not true? And what if they are now involved with the Universal Hip Hop Museum and will be paid by tax dollars? Ethics involved in public institutions are not the same as street hyperbole. With the John Doe case, a lot of eyes are on the museum, its historians, its historical claims, and its money. The Whole Avenue Peace meeting in December 1971 was a catalyst for a peace treaty among the gangs in New York. A member of the Black Panther Party visited the Ghetto Brothers, and the gang shifted its consciousness. "We are no longer a gang, we are a family," said one of the Melendez brothers at the meeting. Gang leaders became DJs. Throwdowns became block parties. Cool DJ D and other leaders of the Black Spades did the same. Bambara, as a young Spade, reported to D. The head of the Black Spades, Bam Bam, was at the Whole Avenue meeting and agreed to the treaty. 20 months later, on August 11, 1973, Kool Herc extended the break of a record at his sister's party. Before this infamous party, DJs played James Brown songs that were already like extended breaks in their entirety. Give It Up, Turn It Loose got dancers on the floor because it had less singing and more beats. Extending the break and other songs kept the dancers getting down at parties. And parties became the get down because they were based solely on the breaks and one could get down all night. DJ Kool Herc is of Jamaican descent for those wonder. It's for all the FBAs out there. Hip hop griots designated that August day as the birth date of hip hop. Before Bambaataa came on the scene, breakouts and breakdances, graffiti, and MCs had already developed. Islam said hip hop was already there. Even the term hip hop was already being used, and according to Grand Mixer DXT, other pioneers like Disco King Mario are not credited simply because they used disco in their names. Rhyming over a beat was not new either. Here Comes the Judge and other songs predate 1973. DXT said, "We simply reconnected with this expression based on the technology available to us at the time, but it is all black music." Now, this message here by Todd Williams, it appears that it is from Facebook. Someone called Todd Williams said, "I see people lying about timelines again, so I'm going to say this once and for all. The Zulu Nation began the end of 1976, beginning of 77, not 1973. I was there. Right before they became the Zulu Nation, they were called the Bronx River Organization for a very short time during the summer of 76, and then changed the name. And then changed to the Zulu Nation. Bambaataa was not DJing in 1973 period. In a comment, we have someone called Shamsideen Sharif Ali Bey who wrote facts 100%, and he added in 73 we were still spades, Bronx River being their 10th div. In 1973, okay, let me check the chat. E. Bennett wrote Lord Yoda. That's from Star Wars, lol. And yep, and they teach what? Gogoa? Okay. In 1973, Bambaataa was not a DJ. He did not have an organization, and the Zulu Nation did not exist. Yet Bukano and the Hip Hop Museum continued to perpetuate this 1973 falsehood, just like the Zulu Nation hijacking the true history that belongs to Kool Herc. Teenage Bambaataa wanted to get in on the party action. He learned how to DJ and started doing his own parties. He borrowed Disco King Mario's equipment to throw his first one. The Facebook post pictured above, Todd Williams, known as Raheem from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, said the Zulu Nation did not exist until late 1976 or early 1977. DXT confirms that Todd Williams is correct. Bambaataa had an organization in 1976, not before, and definitely not in 1973. So this Todd Williams here, according to that report, is a member of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and this group is known for one of the best hip hop song ever, one of the best rap song ever, released in 1982, called The Message. Very strong social message. The song never gets old, even though it is 40 years old. In 76, Bambaataa 17 had a following in Bronx River and recruited younger boys from middle school, including Lord Sharif. I wonder if this guy here who put the two comments is the Lord Sharif in question. Bambaataa's longtime bodyguard, who also confirms Williams' timeline. Well, he is the one. By visiting their schoolyards. Now that gang activity subsided, there were also plenty of criminals with nothing to do. Street guys already knew Bambaataa from the Black Spades. He served as a war counselor after Franklin, the main one, quit. KRS-One tells marvelous stories of Bambaataa as a fierce warlord named Freight Train, who inflicted bodily damage on his ops. Cool DJ D said this is far from the truth. Bambaataa was a soft-spoken guy. He would get information about potential conflicts with other gangs and report back to D. Freight Train was a different person altogether, DJ Cool D say. I don't know why I always say DJ Cool D. It's Cool DJ D. I think when I see Cool, I think of Kool Herc, and that's why I say DJ Cool D. You know, I'm thinking of DJ Kool Herc. But anyway, we had a Freight Train, but it wasn't him. As far as being a Punisher was concerned, Cool DJ D said Bambaataa was not that type of guy at all. Bambaataa later changed the name of his organization to the Zulu Nation and defined hip hop as having 5 elements: DJing, MCing, breakdancing, graffiti writing, and knowledge. He coined the term universal hip hop culture and became his keeper. The Hip Hop Museum is named after Bambaataa's delusions and uses Bambaataa's language. The public and abuse survivors are paying for it. Bambaataa and his personal army will later strong-arm the history of hip-hop and push the founding year of the Zulu Nation back from 76 to 73. You know what's funny is that people who try to revise history. People who are revisionists. It reminds me of the butler Reggie, who had the nerve to say that before he organized or participated in the event known as Kemet on Trial, people were not talking about Kemet. I even played that. I mean, the dude has to be delusional, man. Because Kemet on Trial, I don't remember exactly which date it was, but yeah, I think what wasn't it like 2014 or maybe later? But back in 2008, South City was representing for Africa and Kemet in particular, you know, heavily. And we never heard of Reggie. And the first time I personally saw Reggie on Saneta's platform, he was just basically hating on South City, you know. But some people are real bold, And what's a shame is that when we have people make, fraudulent statements like that publicly, other people don't speak out. I mean, this dude is trying to take credit for people talking about Kemet because of Kemet on trial. I mean, I mentioned South City, but I was talking about Kemet way before Kemet on trial. Introduction to Kemet, known today as Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I released that in 2009, I believe. I'm not sure if it was 2008. I think it was 2009. But it had to be 2009, the latest. Because it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. The fun thing is that V. Bennett wrote Opportunist. V. Bennett told me about the song New York, New York. I knew the Dog Pound song featuring Snoop Dogg, but they are kicking buildings in the music video. But we think about New York, we're thinking about child molestation, and the chorus goes too much. Too many, too much. I mean, I hope we had too much now and people aren't gonna let this thing fly. But anyway, it's just horrible for Butler Reggie to claim that people are not talking about Kemet before he came up with this Kemet on trial. I mean, the dude is so lame that he has to try to reinvent history. I'm going to share a link to the video for those who haven't seen it. That's the work that I am the most proud of. Now it now has 398,000 views. Have it in the chat. Let me check the new comments that I have. Oh, Uncle Shug is showing love. Reply to Uncle Shug. Okay. Too much. I serve too many people. Yeah, that's Snoop Dogg's version. But the original, they don't say I serve too many people. No. They say too much, too many people, too much. And if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me. Now let's continue here. In those early days, a lot of the major players got locked up, killed, were on drugs, or were just plain too scared to correct the record. Perhaps Mbada also has incriminating photos of some of these people. Either way, no one dares challenged the Zulu nation even to this day. In the 2000s, Bambaataa and his Supreme World Council alerted the membership that the Zulu nation had changed into a religious organization. By then, he had developed a long-standing personal relationship with Malachi York and was a devoted follower. Daddio from Stetsasonic had introduced them years earlier. Before I introduced them, I don't remember Mbata with the Ankh and all that. I remember Zulu Nation, said Daddio. The council sent new membership cards to the group and ordained chapter leaders as ministers. York's books became Zulu Nation lessons. Islam. Oh, there's one other thing that I forgot to mention. Chuck Morgan, in his interview with Layla Wills that I have shared yesterday, Layla Wills, just like it's spelled, Layla, Leila space Wills, Wills. So, Chuck Morgan said that there was a lady, he used the name of the lady, who invited a person who used to be a neo-Nazi and was in prison for raping young boys. That guy was even invited to speak. That guy wrote books, and his literature was appreciated by the entourage of Malachi York. So that's quite weird, but hey. We have the same pattern today. People who have been convicted for raping children are invited on the House of Consciousness. So, Islam surmised this change was a way for Bambaataa to hide his money. And the Zulu nation morphed from a hip hop awareness group into a religious cult. For those who wonder, if you are registered as a religious organization, I think legally it had to be labeled a church. Maybe it has changed since, but religious organizations don't or pay very little taxes. Bambaataa became God, and Malachi York's territories became the primary anchor. York taught he was an intergalactic being in communication with aliens across several galaxies, and his knowledge was the ancient knowledge of the gods. Bambaataa was always into UFOs and thought Lucifer and Big Brother were watching him through his VCR. Some of his accusers said he used tape to block their view. York spent a lot of time talking and teaching his convoluted theories, especially on the purported ancient rituals of Kemet and Nubia. Bambaataa adorned himself in the garb of Malachi York's group and publicly announced his name as the Amun-Ra of universal hip-hop culture. The Amun-Ra and his nation were not the only ones in hip-hop involved with York. Chuck Morgan, he's mentioned, a former Nubian, said that York made it his business to go after hip-hop celebrities because of their large followings. Chuck Morgan mentioned and even I sent him an email to ask him if I had that in audio, but he sent it to me. And I think we dealt with this like a couple of days ago, but there's this guy called Bilal Phillips who wrote a book about Malachi York's organization, the Cult of the Ansar Allah. And after that book, then York, basically changed his name, changed his style. And York is on tape saying, okay, well, I've used the 6 pointed stars and the crescent and the ankh, and then call it, and then he gave the name. I forgot exactly which name he said, but so there is a clear chronology as to when Malachi York decided to switch. B. Bennett wrote Yep, and makes you wonder what is really behind these groups. Evading taxes. Texas Bama wrote they believe this mess with absolutely no proof. Indeed. Bambara attempted to create his own supernatural mystic like the Nubians. He mimicked the cadence of the Anua, and his use of the title Amun Ra most likely refers to York's doctrine about the Egyptian god Amun. According to York, the male priests of Amun would have sex with Amun as an oath of their loyalty. I mean, some people, man, he makes the repairing nuts look so innocent. Therefore, professed York, the police did not arrest Catholic priests for having sex with young boys, man. This justification, man. The priests were simply reenacting the ritual. Only those in power and those with higher knowledge, like him, understood this. I don't think we have that on audio, man. Because if they have that on audio, man, the few remaining Nubians will probably, move to something else. I have to read this again. I want to make sure you can hear me. Yes, you can. According to York, the male priests of Amun would have sex with Amun as an oath of their loyalty. Therefore, professed York, the police did not arrest Catholic priests for having sex with young boys. Priests were simply reenacting the ritual. Only those in power and those with higher knowledge, like him, understood this. In conversations with past and current members of the Zulu nation, York's language and teachings are still heard. Words like factology, overstanding, and the popular use of Nubian all emanated from York. Emboldened and untouchable because of his own personal army and reinforced with teachings of child sex rituals, the Amun-Ra of universal hip hop culture allegedly molested underage boys from the late 70s through the 2000s. Cover-ups and knife wounds in March 2013. That was a decade ago. I remember people talking about, Africa Bambaataa being stabbed in Brazil or something like that. Bennett is asking, it's the same ritual Bambaataa was using a form of. But before Brazil, even in America, there's at least one, but maybe two, but there's at least one guy who knocked Africa Bambaataa because he tried to, move on him or something like that, trying to, get too close, too sexual. And he got knocked out, One hitter quitter. That's what I heard. A few weeks before Bambaataa's 56th birthday, a citywide call went out. Bambaataa had been attacked and was at Jacobi Hospital. Over 200 people gathered outside the hospital to secure Bambaataa. Zulus amassed in force. The Nation of Islam showed up, and all were on high alert. Damn, there ain't no why, man. Have they spoken up about this child molestation? The Nation of Islam, have they? Any representative, minister, the leader, Louis Farrakhan, has he spoken about that? Word trickled out that it was not the enemy who attacked the god of universal hip hop culture, but something more sinister had handed him in the hospital. The Nation of Islam dispersed and the crowd began to thin out. Hassan Campbell was there and was told that both Bambaataa and his roommate Amin Henderson were being treated for knife wounds. There are several versions of the stabbing story. No, I mentioned Brazil with the stabbing. No, in Brazil, allegedly Africa Bambaataa was arrested or charged or had done some molestation or some rape or something. But maybe it will be in that report. So there are several versions of the stabbing story. The story Henderson and Bambara gave Campbell was that the assailant had come to the apartment acting funny and appeared to be on something. He went into the kitchen, got a knife, and started shanking Bambara. Bambara was screaming. Henderson ran into the bedroom to see what was happening and got sliced in the arm. The second version is that Henderson was on a phone call with multiple people. He left the apartment to get a sandwich. When he left, Bambara and the assailant were alone in the bedroom. When he returned from the store, Bambara was screaming. He ran into the bedroom and got sliced by the guy as he made a run for it. The third version is that several older Zulus were on a conference call discussing the stabbing. They laughingly described sexual scenarios that must have led to it. One joke was that Bambara probably slipped the guy a Mickey, and the guy woke up with his D in Bambara's mouth and a finger in his behind. This is the story that stuck. So it looks like all the Zulus, that means all the members of the Zulu nation, were well aware of how Africa Bambara used to get down. I mean, the guy messed up the image of the Ankh, along with Malachi York, and he even messed up the name Africa, even though it is spelled differently. Once Bambara was released and back at the apartment at Bronx River Housing, 4 people interviewed said that he gave them a picture of the assailant and a map of where he could be located. The attacker appeared to be underage, and some had seen him hanging around before. He had been to the community center and at parties. Bambara allegedly distributed the pictures, as did members of the Zulu Nation. The understanding they said they had was to find him and get rid of him. The alleged stabber appeared to be a teenager, and no one has seen him since. A few nights after he was in the hospital, Soul Sonic Force and Bambara performed at Radio City Music Hall on March 30, 2013. I'm sorry, yes, 2013. I hope that guy managed to get away, because they might have caught him and basically, like he says, they might have gotten rid of him. I really hope that he managed to get away somewhere, because he was probably defending himself from rape, from molestation. The rumor of the alleged rape, the rumor of the alleged date rape got out when it hit the internet in an article by Khalil Amani, who said he was threatened by members of the Zulu Nation. In New York, it also spreads when Starr and Buckwide discussed it on air at Hot 97. Henderson and Mickey Benson denied the stabbing took place and said Bambara was seen for chest pains, and the Zulu Nation portrayed Bambara as a holy man and leader that loves children. Yeah, he surely loves children. Loves them very much. Unedited statement. Africa Bambara regards women and children as sacred and the essential building blocks of any community. Africa Bambara does in no way, form, or fashion part taking drugs, crime, or any negative deviant behavior. This is not the first time they try to slander a great human being, and it won't be the last. The irony of these allegations is that the same things that Africa Bambara is accused of are the same things he has spoke out and fought against through music and culture his whole life. Have you heard Africa Bambara speaking out against rape in his music? Christ brought them Christianity, and they tried to crucify him. Did Christ bring Christianity? I didn't know that. Prophet Muhammad brought them Islam, and they tried to persecute him. It says no persecute him, but obviously it was supposed to be to persecute him. Marcus Garvey tried to unify people worldwide, and they slandered and falsely imprisoned him. He didn't try to unify people worldwide, he did, but it's okay. Africa Bambara gave you hip-hop culture, and this is how some will slander him. See the use of the word slander to counter very serious allegation was used from way back. Seems like a shield. As a matter of fact, when Frankie was asked about the 15-year-old Nikki that he allegedly had sex with when he was in his 30s, according to Minister Enki, he even said that's comical stuff when he replied to the sister who was inquiring about that. And when the sister said, we're going against those child molesters, Frankie was quiet. But I played that. Can go to yesterday's video, you will see it. Yesterday's live stream. To bear false witness and falsely accuse someone is a crime in of itself. International spokesman, Universal Zulu Nation Minister Elkamonzi Herube. Since news of the child sexual allegations broke in 2016, survivors and the public were demanding statements from hip hop legends. Outside of a few lone voices like Lord Jamar, is from the group Brand Nubian, Talib Kweli, Daddy O, Chuck D, and Eric B. It was business as usual. Rocky Bucano and the the Hip Hop Museum stood silent even though one of his co-founders was being accused of sexually abusing underage boys. The story dragged on for years until it fell off the radar. Mbada kept getting gigs, and hip hop celebrities like Snoop wished him a happy birthday. Damn, I didn't even know that. Snoop, you can do better than this. Survivors were ridiculed on social media, and a New York radio station previously laughed one off before hanging up on him. Sorry. The story was revived when its writer released. I'm sorry, when this writer, that is Layla Wills, the story was revived when this writer released interview footage of survivors and experts on the Trapped in a Culture before the Child Victims Act 2021 look back window deadline. The footage received over 1 million views. Then in August 2021, John Doe filed suit and the case went viral. So Trapped in a Culture, I want to share the link to the playlist. Oh, snap. Okay, gonna do later. It's gonna be easier. Oh, actually, she did post a video about the protest, the March 27th protest. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. I'm going to also inform the House of Pedals that they can change their ways. Oh, Uncle Sugar is streaming. Well, I don't see the stream here, but oh, there it is. Okay, he's talking about Kwame Brown. All right. So Frankie still streaming here. Let's inform Frankie and any potential survivors of the rapists that invites on a regular basis that there will be a march. I'm still not blocked. So you can see I've put the link there. March 27th protest information, hip hop stands with survivor. So that being said, you can see that video. Matter of fact, well, I'm going to listen to it first and then I think I will put it in my timeline. So I'm going to mute my mic.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to take a moment on this busy Monday morning to give you a few details on the demonstration that we're going to have on March 27. We will be there. The demonstration starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. If you don't know what's going on, you can visit the website hiphopstandswithsurvivors.com, or you can watch the last live stream that we did the other day. So we'll be there at 9 a.m. If you want to come earlier, like about 8 o'clock to help us set up, that would be great. We can use volunteers. There's plenty of things for people to do. I will upload the high res hip hop stands with survivors if you would like to use that for some of your signs, and just a few other things. I'll upload that to the website. That flyer on the website should be high res if you wanted to print a portion of that also. And I wanted to give you some of names for the signs of the people whose attention we're trying to get. But one thing about the signs, signs have to be handheld. Like you cannot, let's see. So you could take something like this is 11 by 17, and you can have something like this, but signs have to be handheld. They cannot be affixed to sticks or poles because security reasons. We will be downtown Manhattan at City Hall, 260 Broadway. That's where the protest is. We're not protesting at the museum. We're protesting at City Hall because that's where some of the money is coming from. Now, speaking of money, let me give you a few names, and these names will be in the description of names of people whose attention we're trying to get. Remember, it's still a little swollen, but it's okay. So Mayor Eric Adams, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Representative Jamal Bowman, Senator Chuck Schumer, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz. All of them have given this museum millions of dollars. Now we weren't even going to challenge this museum at all. But what did they do as soon as they got the money? They started promoting Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. As soon as they got our money, our tax money, they started promoting the Zulu Nation.
Sounds familiar, We have the House of Conscious Mess, the House of Clowns spelled with a K, the House of Rape, who's promoting convicted rapists.
Now, if you all don't know, they had a party there this past Saturday, and all Zulu everything. So it just proves what we said in that report. And don't think that we didn't know that play was coming. We already knew it was coming. That's already in the report. And if you haven't read the report, that's also on hiphopstandswithsurvivors.com. Oh, so NYPD will be informed, like they already know this is in motion. So if we have 50 people only, we will be directly in front of City Hall. If the crowd grows and it's more than 50, like if it is it less than 250? I can't remember, but if it's more than 50 or 100 or 200 people, they're going to just move us over to this little pavilion area. But we already know that, and these are security measures already instituted. It has nothing to do with us. So if they start moving us, don't even trip, because there are a lot of security measures because of Homeland Security and all these other things. So 50 people were directly in front. If we have more than 50, they're going to just shift us over a little bit. We will have security there, and as I just said, NYPD will be notified. But remember that there's one person to keep an eye out for, and that's Ronald Savage. Ronald has, he did a video where he's on psych meds. He did a video with him drunk, and he said he was carrying a gun, like an ankle strap, a gun on his ankle strap. So just stay on a swivel that day. We're not worried about it. The cops will have his picture, and security already has his picture. So so they'll search him on site, but just, stay alert that day. But we don't anticipate any problems. So that's it for now. Enjoy your day. I can't respond to too many things. I must focus on work today, as everybody else does. All right. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Take your videos from good to wow with motionarray.com.
She said, it is still swollen, and she touched her cheek. So I hope she didn't get assaulted, Now, going to share that in my timeline. This is actually historical. It's like for the first time we have a march against child molesters, against rapists, and that is more related to the black community because it deals with um, a well-known hip-hop entertainer. So I have shared it in my community timeline. Now, those of you who do have a community timeline on YouTube, then feel free to share it. Otherwise, just feel free to share it in your social media. You do have it there. You can copy and paste it in the chat. Just 1 second. The sad thing is that she's not expecting to have many people, and really, some hip hop artists should be sharing this, because it was all good. Some of them spoke, but now you have a call to action. And a lot of time people like to say, well, we should do something. What should we do? What's the solution? Well, that's what it is. I mean, many times when the solution is there, when some proposition are there, when something tangible is there, that's when the people, are not down with the program. You understand what I'm saying? So we can make a difference. All of us can make a difference. You see, many of you have social media. You know, many of you have groups on WhatsApp. So Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, TikTok. Feel free to share that. It's important. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, gonna leave a comment. There's only 8 comments. I wasn't even subscribed to her channel, so I'll subscribe now. I don't know if you can see what I'm typing, but I'm gonna make it larger. No, I wanna share a video where there's a long intro, but it's okay. It's okay. There it is. Okay, done. Oh, and also, where is it? There it is. That like button. The video only has 140 views, even though she has 10,000 subscribers. All right, done. So let me check the comments. The Bronx also. I don't think anyone spoke up at all. Gaslighting black people. Slender is their way of saying I can see you, but the problem is if it's true. If it's truth, you cannot. I don't look up to actors or entertainers, but unfortunately, most people do. Most people do look up to not just actors and entertainers, but just celebrities. Most people look up to celebrities, whatever a celebrity says, it's all good. Don't even, I was just like me. It's surprised that I am not blocked yet on Sacheda's channel. Yeah. Now, it's only a matter of time. Let's continue. Screenshot of video announcement. New York City's mayor's office, far right wearing blue cap, is Universal Zulu Nation's Mickey Benson. Above him is Rocky Bucano. Second to Bucano's right is Sean Cutman, L.G. Thomas. And you see, that's a problem. Because those people have not done what is right regarding all those people who came forward and spoke about being molested by African Bada. It is tarnishing the name of the Hip Hop Museum. Just like we have a YouTube channel, more than one for that matter. Their name is tarnished, and the people who get on that platform also, their name is being tarnished because they are not doing what's right. They are being silent regarding rapists. And in that case, it's even worse when it comes to those YouTube platform because they are being silent about convicted rapists. Africa Bambaataa has not been convicted yet. New York Mayor Eric Adams and Senator Chuck Schumer recently did what Bucano and the Hip Hop Museum have done, ignored the historic and internet breaking John Doe case and allegations against museum co-founder Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. Adams announced celebrations planned in 2023 to observe hip hop's 50th anniversary without acknowledging John Doe and the other survivors of hip hop celebrities. Present with the mayor were longtime members of the Zulu Nation who are also involved with the museum, Cutman ALG and Mickey Benson. Rocky Bucano shouted out the Zulu Nation to sparse applause, and Grandmaster Flash shouted out Bambaataa. Oh, Grandmaster Flash. Oh, survivors of Bambaataa and the UZN considered Mayor Adams standing with Zulus and Bambara affiliates a slap in the face, and Bukano appeared as the frontman for Bambara, assigned to carry Bambara and the Zulu nation's water. The mayor is sending a message that victims of sexual abuse mean nothing if they are black and brown. I'm sure he wouldn't have stood with Harvey Weinstein at all. Now, the difference, some will argue, is that Harvey Weinstein was condemned, was sentenced. But Bambara has not even replied to the legal proceedings. Neither did his lawyers, according to Layla Wills, according to that report. He would have backed down after the first Me Too tweet by a white actress, said one survivor of Bambara in the UZN. Adams also stood with Russell Simons to the chagrin of Drew Dixon and the other black woman who accused Simons of sexual assault. Dixon tweeted, "It's disgraceful that Eric Adams for NYC platform Russell Simons. This is an insult to all survivors in NYC. I'm sending you strength and love. I'm especially mindful of survivors torn between their love for hip hop and black culture and the struggle to love themselves. Besides what survivors think, it's a blatant insult and lack of sensitivity. Mayor Adams' announcement and close relationship with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which Mbara co-founded, are under scrutiny. Taxpayer dollars would obviously fund the celebratory events. Taxpayers also absorb the financial burdens that nonprofits do not incur because of their supposed work to benefit the public. The Universal Hip Hop Museum is slated to receive or has received 9.75 million in taxpayer funds. Rocky Bucano is the co-founder, executive director, chairman of the board, and president of the museum. Now you see the amount of money. It's what happens. What happens when enough people organize. There are many NGO, non-profit organizations, different kind of organizations who receive funding from the government, and though there are large sums, they are not receiving millions of dollars, but many are receiving a very large amount of money. The collective hip hop stands with survivors, supporters of John Doe, and the men who came forward are in favor of a hip hop museum, but someone else has to run it. Kano has deep-rooted relationships with Bambara and the Zulu nation, and his personal loyalties have demonstrated that he is incapable of ousting the Zulus from the museum, and he should not be shepherd of public funds. To date, Kano has not addressed the allegations nor condemned Bambara, the Zulu nation, and alleged enablers. It was proven in the cases of R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, and the Catholic Church that sexual crimes that were committed continuously and over long periods of time could not have happened without the aid of enablers. Founders of the museum. Dang. Even Mel Mel. Mel Mel, there's a video from Vlad TV where it says, everybody knew about the rumors regarding Bambara. Is that J. Cole? No, it's not J. Cole. But we have Mel Mel here. There's a guy known as he's called Brother Shakim. It's not J. Cole. Come on now. On a telephone call in 2017, Bucano said the museum was not Bambata's idea, it was his. But it was not Bucano's name and photograph real estate developer Young Wu plastered all over social media. It was Bambata's. Wu was quoting Bronx residents to back his plan for the Kingsbridge Armory to become a mall against another developer's proposed ice skating center. Kano was part of the Gocho's basketball program, and Wu had already secured them as a possible tenant. So the nation members, Africa Bambara, Mickey Benson, Cutman ALG, and brother Shakim met with Wu in August 2012, along with Bucano, went with Sir Theodore and Mel Mel, or Melly Mel. Bambara and Melly Mel signed letters of intent with Wu to help create an international museum of hip hop, and they hit the campaign trail. KRS-One supported the plan. Bambara promised Wu he would bring more celebrities and even the Hip Hop Federation. Hold on, let me circle my trackpad. It is not clear if the Hip Hop Federation is made up of humans or Bambata's perceived intergalactic beings or members of his cult. After Star broke the story with Ronald Savage, oh, I almost forgot to say, you heard that Ronald Savage, known as B. Stinger, he's one of the first guy who came out publicly to say that he was molested by Africa Bambata, and he was at one point with Hassan Campbell. They had a little beef at one point, but I saw that they had reconciled and they were together in the street, during the protest, but then I don't know what happened. The last time I heard from him, I saw he had some rap songs, and like I said, they were not the greatest rap songs ever. But somebody did say that maybe it was later Wills that he might even be in the. I think it's in reports, but he said that he pretended that he was older than he was, and apparently he's cool with the Zulu Nation now. So I don't know, maybe he got some hush money. I think Hassan Campbell talked about some money that Ronald Savage may have received or been offered. But there was so many things you gotta keep track of everything. You know what I'm saying? Now, even Donnie Williams like, no, Melly. Oh no. Oh man. After Star broke the story with Ronald Savage's interview in 2016, Savage recorded and leaked a phone call with longtime UZN member and Hip Hop Museum affiliate Mickey Benson. Benson berated Savage for trying to destroy the Zulu Nation's brand and alluded to the heat the organization could face. When you take it upon yourself to say that you were a minor and Bam did this and Bam did that ain't cool, B. You don't know what they'll do with that. How many people were sitting there? How many people were standing there? That's not cool, B. You are trying to destroy a brand that I'm a part of. As a former employee of Strong City Records, a label Rocky Bucano founded, Savage is also seeking a feature in the Hip Hop Museum. He said he thought his coming out against Bambata back in 2016 may hinder that. Lord Jamal of Brand Nubia referred to Strong City Records as a Zulu Nation stronghold. Savage, a former crate boy for JCJ, recently recounted his story and went on the social media spree to clear Bambata and the Zulu Nation of his previous assertions. The Zulu Nation had nothing to do with what happened to me. As far as that person, I pretended to be older, and he thought I was older. That's why I can't forgive him. Does that mean we are going to play basketball together? No, but I will do a record with him. So you mean to tell me that because you pretended to be older and the dude molested you, It's cool because you're pretending to be older. Now here we have a post by Hassan Campbell. It says, "Why would I lie on you out of all people?" And the caption says, "I had sex with Bambara in front of a child, and now I'm going to take him to court to shut him up." Okay, that's obviously a meme created by somebody. Damn, hold on. It says, "Does that mean we're going to play basketball together?" No, but I will do a record with him. I mean, Ronald Savage, man, even went all the way to work on some law regarding statute of limitation. He went on so many platforms talking about he was molested by Africa Bambaataa. You know, hold on. Let me see if I can find the book cover. The magazine cover. That's the one there. That's actually Dougie Diamond's website. There it is. What I was telling you about. I have the link. Let me share. Audio. Zulu Nation tries to pay Ronald Savage to keep quiet about Africa Bambaataa. December 11, 2016. Now, that's a picture for an article. That's Ronald Savage crying, recounting, what he went through. On the right, that's obviously Africa Bambaataa. Most of the time, he has glasses, sunglasses on. Reminds me of R. Kelly with, all these things like pipe or whatever. And obviously, this is a picture of Ronald Savage when he was a young boy. You even have a link to the YouTube video, but maybe, yeah, there it is, unavailable, of course. Ron Savage, aka Beast Stinger, recorded this conversation between himself and two members of the Zulu Nation. In this conversation, you can hear one member say, "Bam just wants the fire to stop." Also, you can hear them sort of admitting Bambaata's wrongdoing, but trying to get Ronald Savage to name his price to help him. Crazy. Dang. But the video is no longer available, So he spent all those years saying that he was molested by African Bambaataa, and then now it's like, I will do a record with him. Texas Bama wrote, Ronald Savage seemed most sincere in his statements. God bless him for speaking out. Well, if you speak out and you make all that noise, only to say, well, I will do a song with him. I'm like, hey, it's like somebody, one of the person was raped by those people who get on the house of rape, house of conscious mess on a regular basis and say, well, I'm saying, I will go to the movies with him. Or I will do a song with him because the guy's a rapper as well. So things like that happen, and usually it's the money. Usually it's the payola that makes people change their mind. In politics, some people, they're gonna be enemies. In politics, and somebody get paid, and all of a sudden he joins the opposition. We don't have many people. We have only 18 people. The title is sex trafficking. Just to show you that many people just don't care about things like that. Texas Bama wrote, I would have taken the money too. That's the least they could do. Well, it's not just like, take the money with sorry. It's take the money and, put the fire out, stop talking, That's the thing. Somebody takes the money and maybe he talks less about the situation, or he doesn't talk about the situation anymore, which will be fishy to say the least. But when a person, whether it takes the money or not, starts saying, "Oh, you know what I'm saying? I will make a record with him." It's like, man, that desperate to make it. Where was it? There it is. On the same phone call, Benson gives a haunting account of what could happen to the detractors of Bambara and Zulu Nation. Anybody else would be like, F that N word. We're tearing that N word head off. Stop him the F out. He'd be missing in action. Sean Thomas, aka Cutman LG. Next at the meeting was Cutman LG, a friend of Bambara and a longtime member of Zulu Nation. Sean Thomas Cutman LG is the head of music programming at the museum. Hassan Campbell, one of the men who said he was who said he was abused by Bambara beginning at age 12, posted several memes on social media accusing Thomas of having sex with Bambara in front of him when he was a child. Thomas would have been approximately 26 and Bambara would have been approximately 32. Damn, sir. According to Minister Enki, you were even older than Bambara when Bambara was having sex with um, um, this guy, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Because Enki said you were 33 and Nikki Chanel was 15. Man, what's up with that? After Bucano and Curtis Blow were told of this allegation, Campbell said Thomas called and threatened to sue him. After Campbell would not back down, Thomas pleaded with him to stop exposing him. Campbell acquiesced at the time, and Thomas continued to be employed by the museum and serve on the board. Curtis Blow later resigned, citing health reasons. After 8 years of being a lifetime board member of the museum's board, Thomas has now been removed after Hip Hop Stands with Survivor began his inquiry. Brother Shakim, see here, that's the meme, you know. That's the meme where it says, you know, everybody knew about the Bambara's rumors from Vlad TV. But anyway, after Thomas, his brother Shakim. So the nation members say Brother Shakim is Bambara's longtime personal assistant, and he matches the description of the person who accepted service on Bambara's behalf at Kenny Snyder's house in the John Doe lawsuit. After Shakim accepted service, Bambara left the country. Melly Mel. When DJ Vlad asked Melly Mel about the child sexual abuse allegation last year, the museum co-founder told DJ Vlad it wasn't like people didn't know. You could have people that will deny it. You could have people that will say they don't know. I'm saying everybody knew. Everybody knew. It reminds me of the House of Rape, the House of Clowns. Oh, we've been knowing this, Shaka. You late. Oh, that's old news. That's old stuff. We see if they're going to laugh like that with the upcoming trial. Vlad pressed him further. Being gay is, you know, perfectly acceptable. Not a big deal, but messing with underage boys is something completely different. Benny Mill answered, I said everybody knew. It ain't like it was a mystery. Bambara is a god of universal hip hop culture, and KRS-One is a prophet. He leads his own religion called the Temple of Hip Hop and has written a Bible-like scripture, the Gospel of Hip Hop. KRS-One has said hip hop is the world's most ancient civilization. Well, he must have been high on something when he said that. If he said that. In 2001, at the International Hip Hop Conference for Peace, over 200 music pioneers and professionals, elected officials, and United Nations delegates heard KRS-One deliver the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. Part of the speech drew special emphasis on children. Hip hop is a name of our collective consciousness. As a conscious way of life, we recognize our influence on society, especially on children, and we forever shall keep the welfare of both in mind. A journalist interviewed KRS-One in 2017 about the child sexual abuse allegations, and he said These people work for the FBI. Later, the same interview, he said, if anybody has a problem with Africa Bambaataa, they should quit hip hop. Are you crazy? That's somebody saying, Shaka, if you have problem with rapists invited by the conscious community, then you should leave the conscious community. Or if you have a problem with scholars dealing with Black history, being cool with child molesters, then you should leave Black history. That doesn't even make sense. But anyway, regardless of who came up with the museum idea, and if the Hip Hop Federation contains aliens, members of KRI's once ancient civilization, or actual historians, Bambaataa touted the project to his Zulu Nation members and collected money for it. Everywhere he went, he was the point person on the ground and in headlines. Even the early trailer for the museum has Bambaataa's pictures repeatedly shown throughout the video. A year before the sexual abuse allegations surfaced, Buchanan wrote a letter of appeal to the UZN membership in 2015 asking for donations. The mission of the museum is not just to preserve hip hop history, which is extremely important, but to also serve as the culture's governing body, wrote Buchanan. So we have the newspaper article dated August 23rd, 2012. Africa Bambaataa plans hip hop museum in New York. Although the museum say they have no corporate or organizational relationship with the Universal Zulu Nation, Buchanan positioning the museum as the culture's governing body and soliciting donations under this premise could not have happened without the approval and partnership of Africa Bambaataa and the UZN. Bambaataa and the UZN have claimed for decades that he is the founder and Amen Ra of universal hip hop culture and being intergalactic. His signature term is the word universal, while Buchanan and others were drumming up support for Wool's Mall. The museum did not exist until Bambaataa came on board. Bambaataa put his stamp on the project and magically the word universal was added to the museum's title. Bambaataa himself spoke publicly about starting a museum on the Ed Lover show in 2016, and survivors who were in the UZN said Bambaataa used their dues money to help start it. Now here you have a gathering of Christ Church outside SOBs in Manhattan protesting Bambaataa's booking. The club pulled him from the show. He was pulled because some people stood up, you know. That sign says, clubs stop supporting pedophiles. Here says protect our children. Here says hip hop stand up for children. Here he says peace, unity, love, and protect our children. See? And this is a gathering of Christ Church. This is a church people. Yeah, they are kind of dressed like Hebrew Israelites though. But and it's many women. We have one dude here, you know. Well, on the pictures that we can see, say many women. Oh, you have a link to the protest. It's available. Please tell me how to stop Siri if you know how. What is it? Okay, maybe there's a problem with the link then. Wait for the ad to be over. That's it. Okay, the link works, so I'm going to share it in the chat and play it. It's only 2 minutes and a half long, and it is on Layla Will's YouTube channel. You better wrote. Everybody knew, Shaka. You late, Shaka. Everybody knew. Texas Bama Road, that's their excuse. So here you have the link that I will share. Nearly 200 people gathered outside of SOBs. DJ Jazzy J arrived during the protest. Bambata arrived after the protest. Oh, put him down, it's a bit loud. Bambata arrived after the protest and was denied entry to the club. SOB's general manager, Peter Letze, made a statement. Raw footage captured by Layla Wills, so she was there because she captured it.
We want to tell New York City that they are not allowed, and they're going to get pushback by us if they book individuals who've been accused by multiple men of sexual abuse. Today, any organization that will book Ricky Mombada in New York before he faces his accusers, we'll be protesting them every single time they book this man. Every single time this man has a show, has a performance, we're going to be in front of that venue telling them, shame on you, shame on you.
We pulled him off. It wasn't our show, it was an outside promoter, and we pulled him off within 24 hours. Am I willing to admit that something fell within the cracks? Yes, but we did pull him off the bill 24 hours. That was 2 months ago. Okay. That's my statement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Peter. Thank you for doing the right thing.
We do support your right to protest. Absolutely.
Thank you, Brother Peter. Thank you, General Manager of SOBs.
You see the name, Elder Rasha. It does look like a Hebrew name. Gathering of Christ Church. Let me look them up. They look like Hebrews alike to me. Yeah, they are Hebrews Israelites. How ironic. Some Hebrew Israelites are against child molesters. Or is it only when it's non-Hebrew Israelites? Is it because it's Africa Bambata? We'll see. Only time will tell. But that's their website there. And that guy with the white scarf, it looks like the elder. What was his name? Oh, 12 tribes. 12 tribes overview. Okay, they're dealing with the 12 tribe chart then. So FAQs, Q&As. It's loading right now. Can women be pastors according to the Bible? From the Old Testament to the New Testament, the duties of pastor, priest, deacon, bishop, elder, or any position of oversight over the nation were performed by men and men only. That's what the writing says. But beliefs. Shalom and blessing. We, the gathering of Christ Church, believe that Christ is the way mankind should follow to receive the kingdom of the Most High. So here they're talking about the 12 lost tribe of Israel. I did not see the words Hebrews were like, but they really look like they are. YouTube Shabbat and Wednesday radio show. They have 38,000 subscribers. Oh, they are in Brooklyn. Okay. Okay. That's for the record. So I can go back to. Sounds like it. I'm sorry. After the gathering of Christ Church had a public a public demonstration at the New York club against the booking of Africa Bambaataa in 2017, the Zulu Nation began keeping event locations secret. On November 12, 2022, the Hip Hop Museum hosted the Zulu Nation's anniversary celebration. Prior to the event, hip hop stands with survivors called the museum, and representatives falsely denied the event was taking place. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Bambaataa loyalists still involved with the museum, like Bucano, Thomas Benson, and more, most likely represents his interests. And Hip Hop Museum is not being forthright with their relationship. The UZN experienced an internal rift when several younger chapter leaders stood with the survivors, separated from the organization. All right. So several chapters of the Universal Zulu Nation stood with the survivors and separated from the organization. That is admirable. We can applaud that. Bambaataa and the All Zulu Nation Guard were furious, and none of these younger chapters that include survivors whose work became the backbone of the UZN public reputation were at museum press conference or part of the Hip Hop Museum activity. An open secret. Cool DJ Red Alert's security. The child sexual abuse allegations against Bambaataa and the UZN are said to be an open secret in hip hop, even in given the benefit of the doubt. It defies belief to assume Bukano never heard of them in his decades-long relationship with them. Bukano's personal relationship with Bambaataa goes back to before his days at Strong City Records. What stands as a fact is that the Universal Hip Hop Museum has never acknowledged the survivors and continues to promote Bambaataa and the UZN. After the story broke in 2016, many people came forward with information. A member of Red Alert's security team said this: I was telling my man Max years ago about this clown, A-S-N word, Africa Bambaataa. Check this out. He had a party back in 06, 07 in Atlanta. I was there doing security for DJ Red Alert, who also happened to live in Atlanta at that time. DJ Red Alert, see, he told me when he took me there, yo, stuff might not look right, but he's a pioneer. Security guard continued. It's part of my business, so I can't defecate more about it, what Red Alert said, because it makes my credibility as a bodyguard effed up. So we get into the spot. And when I get into the spot, he, Bambaataa, is sitting in a chair. He's got little Puerto Rican boys dressed up like Egyptian princess, feeding him grapes and giving him water. And giving him whatever he was drinking. There were a lot of Zulu N words there and a lot of industry people there too. Red Alert recently did an interview with Lord Jamar, claiming he had never seen nor heard of any abuse being committed by Bambaataa and the UZN. In the above picture, Bukano is apologizing to Red Alert for an unknown disagreement with a prominent picture promoting the Zulu Nation and the Hip Hop Museum's DJ booth. The the Bambaataa case proved important to hip hop fans around the world by starting an international conversation within the black and brown hip hop demographic. Many survivors disclosed their own stories for the first time. It's right to still get letters and emails from men who say Bambaataa abused them, but could not bring themselves to come forward. A longtime Zulu Nation member and Bambaataa loyalist Richard Colon, aka Crazy Legs, was outed for alleged sexual harassment of underage and of age female dancers, grooming them online, asking for porn, and sending them lewd photographs. The collective swiftly appealed to the US Olympics to not include him in any honors or ceremonies. I think Crazy Legs appear in Erica Badu's video, which is the soundtrack for the movie Brown Sugar, with Tay Diggs and the lady Sana Latan. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. The same lady who played in Love and Basketball with Omar Epps. I think the name of the song is Love of My Life. But I didn't know he was accused of sexual harassment of underage and of age female dancers. Dang. Founder of Rocksteady Crew, Richard Colon, aka Crazy Legs, has been using his power of influence to sexually harass women. Not only so, this behavior has gone on for a long time without being checked. He has failed to take accountability for his actions, and the B-boy/B-girl community needs to take action. This man should not be involved with Red Bull or Olympics, as he is a proven sexual predator. Crazy Legs denied the allegations and said he had behavior that was symptomatic of being in deep depression. A list of allegations against Crazy Legs can be found here. Dang. Dang. Something similar to the Mighty Hebrew allegation. Now, you better real crazy sick. And yeah, that all those dudes see that, go along with it. Donnie Williams wrote Crazy Legs is known from Beat Street. I'll share the link here. And for example, here it will remind you of some, oh, no, hold on. It has opened in a new window. Something we are really be familiar. Here, I'll share the link once again. Here, a Canadian B girl has publicly stated on her Facebook, he whipped his D out on me unsolicited on webcam back in 2006. Here we have an Argentinian B girl publicly stated, and you have the links, Now this one is Instagram, that one is Facebook. Just like OnlyFans Mika put on Facebook that she's into OnlyFans. Crazy Legs started writing me and asking me for a porn video call. 4 years later on Facebook, he harassed me again from the Rocksteady Crew account. I realized that was him, and I blocked again from this account too. I mean, he used the crew's Rocksteady Crew's Facebook account allegedly. But anyway, you have the link. You can see the rest. Pulling out the penis, I mean, I don't know if it's a popular thing against child molesters, but to each his own, man. Everybody have their courtship method. We've seen the Black Hebrews are like courtship method already. And the sister to the sister who had to endure this courtship method was in the chat. She's a supporter of this channel, and she confirmed that event. A representative from the U.S. Olympics said that Cologne is not currently nor has been involved with the USOPC breaking program in any capacity. USOPC is the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. Statistics show that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are victims of child sexual abuse, and laws to prosecute offenders have not caught up with the data. Search compiled by the think tank Child USA shows over 50% of victims of child sexual abuse have delayed disclosure and do not disclose the abuse until after the age of 50. Some never disclose at all. In the John Doe case, the look-back window provided an opportunity for a civil suit, but in most cases of delayed disclosure, the law leaves the victims with no road to justice. Corporations and social institutions requiring lawsuits or criminal charges before they consider claims valid often leave victims in an impossible conundrum. The Universal Hip Hop Museum's public position has been to ignore the allegations while continuing to work with and promote Africa Bambaataa and the Universal Zulu Nation. The museum's legal disclaimer of having no corporate or organizational relationship with the UZN on the website. However, the Zulu Nation could not have a formal organizational relationship with any company because on paper they do not exist unless there is a filing hiding under a Native American peace treaty. This does not mean the UZN and Bambaataa himself are not involved with the institution. It simply means the two organizations do not have a formal partnership. This could be the case with Madison Square Garden and the Knicks. Hip hop stands with survivors, is demanding accountability and social responsibility from the museum and for the museum to stop treating the public like it's stupid while spending its money. As a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, the museum has not declared its social responsibility a position for survivors who say one of its co-founders sexually violated them Others involved may have enabled the perpetrators, and others may have taken part in the abuse and cover up. The museum has had no public discussion on what it is doing as hip hop's so called governing body to ensure the safety of minors and to make survivors of not only Bambata but and the UZN, Russell Simons, and others feel heard, but also survivors of sexual abuse, many of whom are fans of hip hop. The Hip Hop Museum has declared itself as the official record of hip hop, and with an extreme lack of sensitivity and consideration for the victims. Bambata's triggering picture is displayed prominently on its website. It is loading. I just want to have a quick look at the website. We have the picture with Mary Mel that we've seen earlier. Of another picture, you have to scroll down for whoever will get on a website of curiosity, but you have another picture of Bambara, and this time he has some comedic pictures on his shirt, on his sweater. There's a third picture of Bambara with other people, of course. I'm just scrolling down. Okay, never mind. Let me continue. There are just so many pictures. Uganda and the museum are sending a powerful message by proudly promoting Bambara. As in the days of old when the Zulu nation made everyone tremble. What they do not realize is that when it comes to social justice, statistics suggest more members of the public would identify with survivors than Bambata's celebrity and reputation as a pedophile. Rocky Bucano and the Hip Hop Museum will not be allowed to bring child and teen programming into that institution under the current leadership. Hip Hop Stands with Survivors has a duty to protect kids, even if the Universal Hip Hop Museum will not. A public institution positioned as hip hop's governing body and hip hop's official record using millions of public dollars has responsibility and expectations Rocky Bucano and the museum have failed to fulfill. Bucano congratulating himself on the museum's journey and highlighting old friends while ignoring the elephant in the room for several years and even promoting the UZN have made the museum's non-profit status public funds Zulu Nation seed money, child endangerment, and Bucano's resignation focal points. Bucano cannot absolve Bambara and the UZN of child sexual abuse when neither defend themselves in court. Black and brown women and men are still struggling to receive the same level of broad support white survivors received during the Me Too movement. Bambara, Russell Simons, and Charlemagne the God have been allowed to reinvent themselves in the public eye and continue to enjoy celebrity status, while claims of abuse have apparently been waged off as unimportant chatter. Oh, that's gossiping. A holy leader is Bambara. Simmons is a peaceful yogi giving ye advice. Charlemagne is a mandatory stop on the Democratic Stump Trail, and Crazy Legs helps Puerto Rico during storms. All while their alleged victims have been, I'm sorry, all while their alleged victims have needed therapy and suffered from dysfunction and emotional trauma for their entire lives. Jessica Reed, a black woman, tearfully and repeatedly recounted her story of being sexually assaulted by Charlemagne. Millions of people heard her, just like the Bambada allegations, yet he is still employed at the Breakfast Club and Bucano sat on his show. Charlemagne even laughed about drugging a woman without her knowledge before having sex with her and got on his knees to smell a chair after Jennifer Lopez was seated there. All of these eat away at the psyche of survivors and their sympathizers. Here we have a screenshot of Jessica Reed in Tasha Case, the untold story of Jessica Reed. What message are they sending to the youth? If someone violates you, keep quiet because we worship celebrities over anything, and it's money over everything. Black and brown victims don't matter, said one man. I don't remember any white person having to jump through hoops to get corporations to hold perpetrators accountable. But these guys are getting away with it right in front of our faces. If this happened to their own kids, would it be a different story? Said another man. In conclusion, the Wood Development proposal fell through, and the Universal Hip Hop Museum is now scheduled to open in 2024 at Bronx Point. Oh, I thought it was actually open all along. The same year, breakdancing will be added to the US Olympics. Bambaataa became the god of universal hip hop culture, where he was allegedly sexually abusing and trafficking underage boys. Others covered up the abuse or just stood by silently. One survivor said of Bambaataa, I believe he got his inspiration from us. We was happy during this time when he was abusing us. Hip Hop Stands with Survivors is calling for Rocky Bucano's resignation and an end to the Universal Hip Hop Museum's ties, promotion, and hiring of Universal Zulu Nation. With a three-person board, one of which was non-independent, Bucano attempted to be a well-planted permanent museum fixture that could not be challenged. If this had remained the case, Hip Hop Stands with Survivors was prepared to challenge the Hip Hop Museum's nonprofit status as a public institution. We still oppose the use of public funds under his leadership and will not allow child and teen programming to happen until a responsible person takes the helm. New York elected officials will not be allowed to use public funds to glorify, employ, or benefit Bambaataa and his enablers, and the Hip Hop Museum that made it clear how the public that is funding hip hop's governing body gets a say in the museum's relationships, affiliations, and governance over hip hop. Rocky Bucano's compromising relationship with Bambaataa and the Universal Zulu Nation make him incapable of handling a public institution and public funds. If he was going to cut museum ties with the Universal Zulu Nation, he would have done it already. He's running the museum like it is his own friendship reunion club from the 70s. The criminal element has always existed in hip hop, but several men came forward with horrible stories of abuse, and there is an active court case accusing Bambaataa and the UZN of the worst crimes inimaginable, the sexual abuse and sex trafficking of a vulnerable and defenseless 12-year-old boy, a case that Bambaataa nor the Zulu Nation bothered answering. At 50 years old, perhaps it is time for hip hop to grow up and join the rest of society in instituting non-tolerance measures for sexual abuse and giving pedophiles, rapists, and their enablers no place to hide and prosper in corporate silence. We look forward to this swift resolution. It's one of the things that when I saw this, I thought about York, but we can see York here with his feathers, and here Africa Bambaataa with his feathers, and that's it. So it was an exercise. I'm trying to bring it where some people are so perverted. It was about 30 pages, you know. I'm going to close now. It's been 2 hours and 21 minutes. We only have 14 people right now, you know. I guess it's not the juicy stuff, but it is what it is. It was important for me to read this and share this with the people. Stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to, by the nature, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I stay fast. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Do I to do nature?
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Nature classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Nature class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.